Brisket is back for another wonderful episode. Cheers to the weekend, John. Hey, I'm looking forward to knocking back a couple of cold brews and fire up the smoker, cooking, grilling, smoking, whatever it doesn't matter. And for the folks that are listening along or watching along, this is my hands aren't this tiny. Okay,
it's a regular size beer right there, guys.
It's not a regular size beer. There is no optical illusion. This is a large Shinerbach beer that we're going to go through tonight. There you go. Hey, I got tired of going back and forth to the cooler. So
there was a mishap last year. We couldn't find a damn bottle opener. You know, Raul has one job.
Yeah, I shit the bed on that one. My bad.
Yeah, and we don't blame you, Raul. You definitely cleaned your act up, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down a man, it's our time to shine. Jan's out. It used to be just like gallivanting around or whatever the terminology was, but he's jet setting. He's now gone global. He is now, I think he's in Tokyo, Japan right now, doing his thing. And it's probably about 9 a.m. over there. So maybe he'll jump on. Maybe he'll see this and he'll add a couple of comments here and there.
He knows. Yeah, it's early in the morning over there. I think about 9 o'clock. He did send some pictures. He's been out running around looking at, I don't know, stuff. Architecture or something.
Yeah, stuff that like, I guess, I don't know what it is.
So it's a little touristy. I don't know. I like to get like with the people,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The locals.
It looks like a very traditional Japanese thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the little pointy corners thingies on the roof, I think, that does it.
I believe that's the technical term for it.
Well, I do architecture. I'm a hobbyist in architecture, so I know a little bit about the whatnots and the jargons of the architecture.
Yeah,
so,
there it is. Yeah, he so he shot me a couple of pictures. I guess they're just going all across Japan. They started in Osaka, Japan, and he got to get a little taste of the culture and the nightlife and the food. He did say that there was a really, really badass like ramen place that he visited. He said the best ramen that he's ever had in his life. And it was so good that he wanted to go back on the day that they were leaving to go to Tokyo. He's like, do we have enough time to go have that again? So, and honestly, it might be one of those things where you have something so great that nothing ever amounts to it. You know what I mean?
It's awesome, but also kind of sucks.
It does, right? You can never satify that itch.
Yeah,
that's like trying Texas brisket and just being used to that, and then you go to another state,
preach.
Yeah, you go to another state and you try their brisket, and it's like, and can you imagine just having to move and transplant and just like go to California and that's where you live,
man?
And then all you have to eat as far as barbecue wise that comes to brisket is just
tofu. It's tofu, is what it is. They only do
terrible.
Tofu.
Like you never like, I gotta go to Texas. I gotta fly to Texas to get that real stuff. And I think that holds true to probably about 95% of the other states out there in the United States. I don't think we're not really counting Canada as a state yet.
No,
but I would imagine
close.
Their brisket is probably maybe a little bit better in California's.
Yeah, they got Mel up there at least.
They do. Yeah. Hey, cheers to the freaking weekend, man. You got any plans for cooking?
I'm cooking a whole bunch of stuff. I've got some friends coming into town, so I'm doing a brisket, some ribs, some wings, some mac and cheese. I'm doing the whole smorgasbord. So, and then we're going out to rodeo Saturday. Gonna go see some Brooks and Dunn.
Dude, the Neon Moon. I love that.
It's gonna be fun.
Are they closing it down?
I think so. I think Saturday's last day, isn't it?
Okay.
No, it's not.
Sunday.
Luke Bryan.
Okay.
Luke Bryan always closes it, or he's always there. And I don't. It's not to throw shade or whatever, but we've seen Luke like 5 gajillion times. And, Luke Bryan is a good musician, but it's like, man, we've seen him 5 million times. Like, can we get somebody new going in there? It's like I get kind of tired of it. You see San Antonio rolling out their lineup. Austin, I saw their lineup. They had guys like Braxton Keith and all these guys that are new up and coming artists rolling through there. So not to throw shade on the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We love them.
You did a little bit though.
They've helped me be the man that I am as far as the volunteer with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Okay. One of these days I'll be up there on that main stage hoisting a trophy like my buddy Carlos with Second to None Barbecue. Hey, what's everybody up to these days out there and grabbing the brisket land?
Hey guys, you got a comment from Chad. Chad says, "What's up, guys? Holding it down in NC. Double shots of Jim Beam.
Dude, that's
fire.
what I'd love to hear. Like,
Mhm.
hey, cheers, guys. I love that we don't have to ask what everybody's drinking.
They know what we're asking.
They already know what we want to hear. We want to know that we're not the only ones sitting here partaking on whatever day it is that you're listening to this podcast
Mhm.
and just enjoying a cold, refreshing drink. I'm doing Shiner Bock. So
Yeah, this is the part where Jan would jump in and say, if you're listening to this on your way to work, crack a beer.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like a what'd you say, a commute beer
Yeah,
or
breakfast beer.
just something. I saw
Breakfast beer.
Yeah.
breakfast beer. I saw something the other day. It was like a podcast that I think Elon Musk was on with a couple other dudes, and man, he was talking about in the next 10 years, and we're totally off the subject on barbecue. We'll reel it back in. But in the next 10 years, you're going to see close to like he said like 180% of like autonomous driving vehicles out there.
What do you mean 180%?
100 or 80.
Oh, 100
With
or
their
80.
or in there,
I was
yeah.
like, man, that's a lot.
I think he said 100%. So he's fairly confident that the AI and the advancements in technology is going to grow leaps and bounds over the next like 10 years. Also, he said everybody's going to have a robot by then.
For us uneducated folk,
Yeah.
what is optometry? What is that word you said?
Autonomous.
Yeah.
This is basically you type in GPS into your car and you hit start and it drives you to the
Yeah.
place you want to go.
Self-driving.
Self-driving.
Yeah. Look, Mom, no hands.
Yeah.
Speaking of autonomous, I heard you got a new toy coming in this weekend. That sounds weird the way
Dude,
I said that.
do. Yeah. No, I got hooked up as part of a trial program for Toro doing their Roomba styled mower. And I'm totally not saying that correctly, but it is a mower that will mow your grass by itself. You got to hook it up to the Wi-Fi. You got to grid everything out. But yeah, I have a technician coming over Saturday to help kind of install and lay out the whole grid work to get my lawn cut. So
you don't even have to do the hard part of getting it set up.
no, the hard part is me going out there and sitting in a lawn chair and just cracking open beer and just like, man, it just sucks just having to mow my lawn. And then I get to look over at like other people in my neighborhood, just like pushing their mowers and stuff like that. So that's going to be the terrible part of this whole thing.
Laura comes out. Hey, I need your help. I'm mowing the lawn, woman. Leave me alone.
Right. I'm so you see me cooking a brisket and I'm mowing the lawn at the same time. I can't do 3 things at once. I'm doing my thing.
Multitasking.
Jan's in the house, so yeah, there he goes.
You jump in here. He's not even talking to us. He's talking to Raul. He'll send you a pic.
He said, "What's up, fellas?" I was just making sure that he was sending it to the right number.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Did you just post your
number
number up there?
No.
Okay, Raul's number is
That's what happened the first time.
yeah, he did send a picture though of some steak that he had. Did you see that?
I did. It
looked
looked like he would. He's not giving you the whole picture when he sends some of this stuff, but I did gather from his snaps that he was at like it's like a Benihana style place, and I don't think you call it Benihana style place over there.
Nah,
it's like it's just like that's probably like a Whataburger that they go to.
Jesus, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of here.
I'm just saying that they eat this like this food that it just looks amazing.
That hasn't been
like
cooked yet,
everywhere. Right? No, yeah, that has not been cooked.
Okay.
Looks like he's dealing with some type of like Kobe beef.
Yeah.
With some other stuff.
Yeah, if they turn that into ground beef, you know how it's normally like 80-20 or whatever, that would be like 60-40, but like on the fat side.
Yeah.
That's mostly fat. I would eat it. I would probably like it, but it just looks weird, man. That's super marbled.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, God, man, Jan's gonna have fun. Kylie and Keegan over there. I was like, just don't have like an international incident. You know what I mean? Don't do anything to where our president has to barter like a terrorist to get you back. You know what I mean? Then I was thinking, it's like, well, they had the whole Brittany Griner thing where they gave up like an arms dealer. What do you think they're giving up to bring Jan back home?
Brittany Garner.
Yeah,
Garner.
Send her back.
I love
you know what? We made a mistake.
Wait, yeah.
Rob Baroka, what's going on, brother? Busy busy little chat thing we got going there. So you're excited about this mower?
I'm excited. So we'll see. It could be the best thing in the world, and it could be terrible. But I don't think it is. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if this sets up on a program by itself. I don't know
it's
if
gotta have sensors or something, right?
You know,
I
got a lot of questions,
right?
Yeah. A lot of questions. Is your cat laying in the front yard?
I was just going to say, you
does
have
it
a
just
very
keep
small
going?
dog.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Toby.
Right. Well, you see those videos where Roombas run over like the dog shit in the house, and it just smears dog stuff everywhere. I'm like, what if it gets a hold of a squirrel? You know what I mean? The squirrel's just sitting in the lawn, just like doing this thing. All of a sudden, done. Just saying, it's what comes through my mind, guys. I'm sorry.
Get some videos or pictures or something we can share.
No, I definitely am. Yeah. So I saw the other day MLB was rolling out some new merch for all the teams, and a lot of people probably already saw this, whatever. But they unveiled all the hats, and there's a few questionable hats that popped up to where this has made MLB rethink and redact and pull back some hats that was thrown out there. So yeah, this is the Angels hat. I don't know what that said. What does that say, John?
That looks like it says anals. What they're doing is they're taking their logo, which is usually a big letter, and putting it over the words, right?
Correct.
So folks that can't see what we're talking about. So they took angels, but they have the big A in the middle, which comes up the G, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like it says anals.
I didn't see it until you said it.
Anals.
Well, I think this had to go through like 500 marketing gurus, and you don't think they had like a John or a James or somebody to go?
I guarantee there was somebody snickering.
Oh, they knew it. They're like, they let them send it. Look right here, the assholes,
assholes.
I mean, come on,
that's pretty good. I might buy that one.
Yeah.
They pulled them already, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, did they?
Yeah,
you can't even get them. That's a bummer. Probably worth.
I think they had a couple. I think there's some people who are doing knockoffs, and they're selling for like I don't know, like $700.
Tetas. What is tetas?
Tetas.
Is that Spanish for something, Raul?
Titty.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I like it. I'm not a Rangers fan, but I like the hat.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And now somebody's opened up their own side businesses, and they're creating logos and shirts and stuff to copy this exact thing, and they're making millions of dollars.
We should have thought of it. God,
love it.
Dang it.
Hey guys, we have a pretty awesome guest coming up here in a little bit. We're interviewing Meathead Goldwyn. The guy's a legend in barbecue. He's already he had a #1 best-selling book that he put out, and he is rolling out a new one. So he's going to come on and talk a little bit about his book and a little bit barbecue and just whatever else that we get into and want to talk. Feel free to drop any questions that you have in the comments. We'd love to hear your feedback and thoughts.
Yeah, I got some questions for sure, because that first book is, I think it's the highest selling barbecue book of all time. It's right up there at the top. This next one's got to be amazing. Yeah, and it's on pre-order, so we'll get all the info from him. I'm excited to talk to him about it for sure.
Nice. Love it. We're doing a competition coming up here next weekend. So anybody in the Hempstead area, they're having the I guess it's the first annual RotoQ 360 competition, where a lot of people are coming in to do a competition on burgers, wings, and they're doing a kind of a people's choice category type deal. It looks like there's some big cash prizes that are up for grabs, along with some Z grills. So we're excited to participate in that. We're gonna probably win the whole thing. I'm just
it usually works.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. And so it's next weekend, March 29th. So if anybody's in the area, Hempstead, Texas, you guys want to come out and say hello, visit. Far as I know, it's free to get in. You get free little sample bites, and if you come by the Grabbing the Brisket booth, I don't know, maybe rights. I mean, we can't sell anything. We can't, do anything like that. So, but I'm just saying, maybe if you're thirsty and you need like a water or something like that, we can help you out.
Silver bullets.
Yeah. So you had any thoughts really quick on burgers and wings that ideas you might want to do?
I cook a lot of wings, but I don't do any like fancy wings. I feel like they're going to have some fancy wings out there. I don't know, crazy sauces or something drizzled on the top. I just do like chicken wings, man.
Yeah, we're gonna
season them up and go for it. I don't mess around with all that shit.
Really awesome chicken wings.
What are you thinking about the burger? You gonna do like one of them honey bun burgers, or you gonna do the one with all the guacamole and shit on it?
I don't know. I threw it out there in the group chat and nobody said anything. We may do the El Guapo burger, or we may go with the honey bun burger.
Yeah, both fabulous ideas. How about that chef's choice? We're gonna maybe follow up what we did in Austin, or come up with something new.
Figure something out. We'll go buy some baked beans somewhere and like
beans and weenies.
We'll give her a little scoops of beans. Like, here you go.
That sounds amazing. That's exactly what we should do.
Is the whole crew going to be there?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
We're gonna shoot for that.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can come hang out with us if you want to.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, how about we talk about some hot off the grill barbecue news? All right, first one we got is our boy Matt Gork over there, Gork Boys Barbecue. He's putting out a book. His first barbecue book, The Meat Teacher Cookbook, the ultimate backyard barbecue guide for an A+ in pit mastery. Pre-order now. So I know a lot of our listeners are into the cookbooks, which is it's a great episode for you to be listening to because we got the man coming on in just a minute here. But yeah, his cookbook is going to be out May 20th. You can pre-order now. We'll have a link down below for you. I'm excited. I've already pre-ordered mine. Going to be badass. Next up, the SCA World Steak Championship happened. Mm-hmm. We have a new world champion in steak, and it is Karen.
Good.
Do we have a drum roll sound effect, Raul?
Yes, we
Okay.
do. Let
Can we
me
do that? Okay. Never mind. Karen Cook Wright, which I believe that's Riley Wright's mom, I think.
So.
She had a perfect score, so she kicked everybody's butt, and she is our new state champion. Congratulations, Karen.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
I would like to taste one of those perfect steaks,
right?
Just so I know what that tastes like, because every steak that I have, I'm like, damn, this is perfect. I mean, I'm not saying just because I cook. I mean, all you guys, I mean, I've had some terrible steaks, but really good steaks. I've like, this is probably the best steak I've ever had. And maybe because I'm hungry and maybe I've knocked back too many Shiner Lights or Shiner Box or something like that. But yeah, I'd like to taste one of those steaks to see what it tastes like. Are we on plane with that, or is there just a weird, not weird, but a umami type flavor that is just pulling those people in?
I don't know, because when we tasted them before, there was definitely a lot of people doing that.
Yeah. Is it something illegal? Maybe we need to do a one of those 60-minute investigations to try to figure out what what Karen Cook Wright is
there needs to
on
be an
steak.
investigation for sure.
Let's go
about something.
I love it.
All right, the last thing here, the MBBQA is hosting the live fire experience again out there at Smoke Slam. It was a huge hit last year. They're doing it again. Got Al Fragoni and his team out there. I'm sure a bunch of other folks too. And if Al Fragoni's going to be there and Kel Phelps and Janet are heading it up, it's going to be badass. That's May 13th through the 15th out there at Smoke Slam. If you roll through, tell them we said hey.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's all I got for the Hot Off the Grill barbecue news. I will add in there real quick though. Today's episode is brought to you by Chicks Smoke Spicy Barbecue Seasoning, our favorite versatile seasoning that elevates any dish from smoked meats to roasted veggies, even popcorn. Whether you're grilling, smoking, or cooking in the kitchen, Chicks That Smoke will kick up the flavor. Chicks That Smoke Spicy Barbecue Seasoning available at sucklebusters.com or through the link in the episode description.
Sucklebusters. We should record Jan singing that jingle for when he is.
I kind of like making you do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Not if I do it, then I got to take it over because it's better. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah,
that's actually probably accurate. All right. Do you want to?
Let's before we get before we get Meathead, we got Meathead coming in about 9 to 8 minutes. We're gonna crack open this beer review beer.
What is it?
Beer review beer.
They're grabbing in the brisket.
Beer review.
I just dropped a bunch of ice in my lap.
You might want to knock a little of that ice off. It's not all over the podcast studio.
Raul doesn't mind. He lives to serve.
As long as you didn't say service, I'm good.
All right. I went over to the Beers Looking at You folks over there. And if you're not from around Houston, even if you are from Houston, you might not know where it is. This is a great little store. They got all kinds of beers in there. This one's called the Pilsner Urquell? I don't know. I think it's
I like Urquell. That's like a throwback to the Family Matter, like 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Did I do that? Yeah. All right. I don't know where this is from, but I feel like it's from somewhere else.
It's very old England like design on the can, where you got like the wax seal. You got a little coat of arms coming up there. So it's 1842.
Okay.
Like, has that brewery been around this
I
long?
think it probably has. It looks super old. It says imported through Washington, D.C., but it goes on to say brewed by Pilsner Urquell in, I can't read that word, but I think that's Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
CZ. Is that Czechoslovakia?
Sounds about right.
Cubic zirconia?
Yep.
Anyway, it's a Pilsner. I don't have super high hopes, but I'm thinking it's going to be a very drinkable beer.
Okay. Cheers. Yeah, I'm always surprised about beer that's made outside of the country, and it's not just because I'm American and I just have this like dystopian, like weird point of view. Like they don't have that type of stuff over there in other countries or whatever. You know, I'm like, do they have grocery stores over there? You know what I mean? It's weird. Like Jan was telling me that over there in Osaka, and I guess today they're in Tokyo. I'm like, and he's like, man, just been trying all the foods and the beer as well. I'm like, oh, okay, how's the beer? And he's like, it's been pretty good. Like the beer is pretty good. He's like, going through the gambit of doing all the beer reviews, the hundreds and hundreds of beers that we've opened our minds and palates to.
I hope he's scoring them.
That's kind of helped him appreciate some of the stuff that he's
I'm sure
he's drinking. And I'm sure there's probably, you have your Japanese style light lagers that can rival some of the Colorado Rocky Mountain water.
Yeah, they have their
beers.
own piss beers over there. I'm sure.
Hey, guys,
Speaking of piss, what is this?
If you're wondering what you're looking at,
Yeah,
right
a little
now,
bit.
is I got a picture from Jan just now, and he just sent the picture, no description, no wording.
Is that a sink on
Is that a
top?
sink above a toilet?
That's a sink on top.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. So it's probably a tiny ass little bathroom. You can piss and then wash your hands right there.
Dude, see, you can't have this, and I'm not. I apologize, Meathead. I don't know if he's listening yet, but you can't have this type of stuff in America because you know the stuff that we would just do.
Upper decker. You can't upper decker on
You
that.
can't have that stuff here. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, my hands smell like
my
shit.
God. The most disturbing part is his shadow there. Like, what is happening?
All right, I got another one for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm about to
That's
drop
what we
it
need.
right
Yeah, we
here.
need one more of those probably. This is. I told him to send pictures, and this is what he sends. What the hell, man?
All right.
One shot for 1,000. Is that yen?
I'm assuming.
Okay, yeah. Can you blow this up?
I don't know what the hell that
No,
is.
that's
Okay.
That's blown up.
So that's a snake
Oh, is that a
inside
snake in
of
there? Okay.
some type of alcohol. And I remember Keegan telling me about this, his first trip to Japan, where they take shots out of this, and it's like a fermented snake in there. And
is that what we're looking at?
yeah, there's a snake down at the bottom of it.
Mm.
That is,
Oh,
yeah. For the
man.
folks that are listening along, you can't see the full presentation like watching on YouTube, but this is a big, huge mason jar with a snake down below, coiled up. And what they do is they filled it up with some type of liqueur or liquor, and then they let it sit and ferment, and then you pay money to drink it. How much you paying for that, John?
I'm not paying. I need to be paid. Somebody's going to pay me to drink that. That looks gross.
How much do they have to pay you to drink that?
So Jan says,
Do we know how much 1,000 yen is?
when you flush it, the water runs. I'll do the math real quick on
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So when you flush the toilet, okay, yeah. This is making for great podcast material, guys.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're not watching this on the YouTube, if you're just listening, I'm sorry, but at some point, pull over and just look at some of these pictures.
Yeah,
Because
I'm sure
input Jan gives us.
I'm sure Meathead's going to have his input coming in here shortly.
Exactly.
Because I know he's world traveled, and I know he's been around it and experienced different cultures and food and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. I'm sad that Jan's not here to be able to communicate and ask those questions, but we'll get his feedback on
100%. I know he would not be a little biatch and not try this, so he's definitely going to give us some feedback on how this went.
So
Jan.
1,000 yen is $6.72 American.
Oh, that's not bad.
No,
$7
not
bucks.
$7. Yeah.
$7 for a shot of snake.
Here's the deal, and we may have laws against this. I expect our hometown bar maybe get a rattlesnake and maybe soak it in some bourbon. A nice, good, like a solid bourbon. You know what I mean? Something like really good, like maybe some
Jack Daniels.
Blanton's.
Oh, Blanton's.
Yeah, Blanton's, or we can go some Eagle Rare or something like that to put in there to just really get to bring out the essence of the snake or whatever. You know what I mean?
This is Texas. They're going to soak it in a Shiner buck.
Yeah, let's go, and then we'll grill it.
Exactly. I actually didn't. I've seen some folks do the snake thing. It's probably pretty good. I never tried it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for that input, Jan. That's super helpful. Can't wait to hear more about it when you get back here. I love that he's not here to rebuttal, because he'd rebut the shit out of it.
Yeah. So as we mentioned before, we got honored and blessed to have Meathead Goldwyn come on the show to talk a little barbecue. He's not new to the show. Friend of the show.
Times.
We tried to have him on maybe a month ago or so, and we had a couple of technical difficulties.
We shit the bed.
It wasn't us. It was all the internets, and
we got free months for that.
We did. All
Yeah,
right.
we did.
There it is. So we got him coming out, dude. We're talking about like just an all around badass cook. The knowledge that this guy has amassed,
Barbecue Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And the knowledge that this guy has just floating around, and he is putting it down on paper for us to be able to consume and learn from this guy. Master of the arts, master of science and barbecue,
photography.
All right, that's enough of that shit.
No.
Welcome in.
Oh my God, the man.
Hey, okay, it's pronounced Pilsner Urquell, and it is from Czechoslovakia. And before the boom in microbreweries in this country, when all we had was Schlitz and Budweiser and Old Millwater, Pilsner Urquell was generally considered by beer aficionados the best lager in the country, the best lager in the world.
Wow.
So it was very highly regarded. Nowadays, I think it's one of many good lagers, but it's a light beer. I mean, it's not light in the LITE style. It's just a lighter Pilsner, and I think it is no longer considered one of the world's greats, but still good beer.
I think it's good. It's good.
And it's pronounced Urquell, I think. I live in a community that has a lot of Czechs. So, and you were talking about steak competitions. I've judged steak competitions, and they're pretty good. A lot of these competition cooks go way over the top. I mean, they use really complicated seasonings and rubs. And when they're done, it doesn't taste like steak anymore. But I have a bit of a bitch with the. Hey, do I have to watch my language on
No,
this?
you do not.
No, you say whatever you want.
I have a little bit of a bitch with the way the SCA, the Steak Competition Association, works. I love the competitions. I love those guys. I love judging it, and it's kind of fun to wander around, watch them cooking. But they cook to medium, not medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
And in my world, medium rare is when steak is most tender and most juicy.
Mm-hmm.
And medium, it's pink, but it's not rosy.
Right.
And I prefer it, 130 to 135 range, and these guys are cooking up to 140.
Yeah.
So I think they overcook them slightly, but that's the rule. And if you turn in a medium rare steak, you're going to be docked points.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think they set that up at the beginning, and I've talked to them about it. I've begged them to change, and they're smart guys. I don't know why. The other thing is they really work hard to get grill marks. They use this gizmo called Grill Grate. You've seen it. It's a extruded aluminum. It's a really great tool for a lot of things, and it makes really sharp grill marks. Now, grill marks are conduction energy. That's when the metal is in contact with the meat, and the energy from hot metal is greater than the energy from hot air. And so you get these dark stripes on the meat, and those dark stripes are the Maillard reaction. And I'm sure you and your listeners probably know what that is.
Yeah.
But in case you don't, Maillard reaction is when proteins and amino acids react with heat, and they alter the chemistry, and they make lots of new compounds that are very flavorful. I mean, think of like when you do a beef roast, the end cut,
Mhm.
you know, the crust. I mean, it's the crust. That's bark
Right.
Right.
is Maillard reaction. So you've got steaks now that have got prison stripes on them. They've got, well, they're crisscrossed usually, and they're beautifully done. But to me, it's a sign that the steak has got unfulfilled potential.
That's
Because
what I
in
was just gonna say.
between the grill marks, there's tan meat.
Right.
I want Maillard reaction edge to edge, bumper to bumper. And so when I cook a steak, I use the second most intense energy. Conduction from hot metal is the most intense. I go for the second most intense energy, and that's infrared energy, which comes from glowing coals or flame. And you can get a good dark brown surface on all sides with infrared. You can also get it from conduction, but to do that, you need a griddle. You lay it on a hot griddle where there's no grill marks.
Or a cast iron pan or something.
But I'd rather have the flavor of smoke and flame. So I prefer to do it on a grill, but I work it so that I can get it brown all over, not just grill marks. And that's part of their rules also. If you don't have really beautiful prison stripes, hatch marks on it, they knock down your score. Now, KCBS launched a state competition circuit a couple of years ago, and they said that they want it brown all over, like Meathead says. So I was like, oh, wow. I don't know how that competition's gone. I don't know how well it's done, how many of them are out there, but that's more to my taste.
So while we're on the subject, let's just slide right into sous videing, because from what I understand, there are a lot of competitors out there that are sous videing their steaks to a certain temperature, and then, like you said, lightly searing with the grill marks. You get those pronounced, just solid lines, but
they're beautiful.
You're not really developing a whole lot of flavor. As you say, in the Maillard reaction build up or whatever, and maybe you take a little bit away from that by sous videing the whole steak, because everything is cooked perfectly.
You can still get an all over sear. I mean, you can throw it on a griddle, lodge and makes it, or a cast iron pan. It's funny you mentioned sous vide. I leave Saturday for a Caribbean cruise.
Okay.
Where 4 chefs, myself and 3 other chefs, are teaching sous vide. Now I'm focused on what I call sous vide Q, which is combining the grill and the smoker with sous vide. They're doing straight sous vide. In fact, one of the guys is doing, I've tasted food from all of these guys. They're really good. One of them is superlative at sous vide cocktails.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to his session.
Yeah, you're speaking my life.
I'm doing 2 sous vide Q, so two sous vide Q dishes, so that's next week. Sous vides, for your listeners who may not know, again, I remember when we first started talking about sous vide 5 years ago or more, nobody knew what the hell I was talking about.
Nope.
It's a technique. When you're grilling or cooking in an oven or a frying pan, the energy is really strong. And if the interior temperature of the meat slowly creeps upward, like at a 45-degree angle. Actually, it's more like a hockey stick. And I write about this in my new book. I will talk about the book, Meathead Method, coming out May 13th. But there's a hockey stick shape. And if you've done a little bit of grilling, you know what that is. It moves slowly upward. And as it starts to get close to finished temperature, it goes up faster. So if you're watching it and it's slowly going up. So you're going to go inside, get a beer or take a pee, and you come back out and it's overdone.
Yeah, you overshot your mark.
You overshoot the mark. And it's easy to overshoot the mark on a grill or in a pan or an oven. But so let's say you're going for 130 to 135, medium rare. That's my favorite steak temp. If you aren't careful, you can easily overshoot. And also when you bring it off, if you're among the people who likes to let steaks rest, there's energy stored in the surface of that steak. And it will continue to cook as that energy works its way down to the center. Some of it will bleed off into the air, but some of it will work its way down to the center. and you took it off at say 130, but by the time you serve it after a 20-minute rest or a 15-minute rest, it's now 140. It's overcooked. So I'm not a believer in resting steaks. I take them off the grill and I get them on the plate as fast as I can. I want the surface hot. I want sizzle. I want people's salivary glands to start cranking away. But in any case, so I'm going to take a steak and I want it at that 130 to 135 temp. What sous vide does is you put it in a water bath that is preheated to exactly 130. So the steak will warm up to exactly 130, but it can't go to 131 or 132. So you can never overcook. And the cool thing is you can leave it in the sous vide bath for hours and never overcook and not ruin it. Now, you just can't put the steak in the water because that will pull out flavor. That's why you don't boil ribs. You extract flavor.
I told you.
So you put it in a plastic bag, like a zipper bag, and you push it down in so it pushes all the air out. And so now the warm water's in touch with the bag, and the bag's in touch with the meat, and so you're not boiling the meat. But when you take it out of the bag, it's just ugly.
Yeah,
it's butt ugly. I mean, because it's tan, and so now you've got to sear it, and you've got to get the Maillard reaction. And a lot of people just put it in a scorching hot frying pan, or on a griddle, or on a grill. Or one of my favorite techniques is on a charcoal chimney. Okay. If you've got a charcoal chimney, is just like a coffee can that you put charcoal in and it starts the fire. Well, if you pile in charcoals, say a Weber chimney will hold 64 charcoals. If you fill it up, say halfway, it's going to be 800 to 1,000 degrees at the top. It's like the back end of a F-16.
Yeah, it's like a what do they call those? Like fire pots, or what were those things that I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's basically just like
it's just. And I first discovered this one night when I was cooking at dusk. I looked at my charcoal chimney and there's this blue flame coming out of there 2 feet. And I'm pretty sure I'm the guy that invented the idea of grilling on top of a charcoal chimney, because I reached under my grill and pulled out the grate, put it on top of the charcoal chimney, and seared my steak on it. And bada bing, bada boom. It was absolutely gorgeous. And it took like 2 minutes per side. So that's my favorite technique for sous vide steaks. Come out of the sous vide bath and onto a hot charcoal chimney. I think there's a couple of companies now actually selling a round grate that fits on top of the charcoal chimney just for this purpose.
Of course, that's just genius.
Yeah, I love how how many briquettes go into
I was thinking the same thing. Did he count?
Well, there's a reason why. I'm a control freak. Each briquette is a little pillow of energy, and 2 briquettes has twice as much energy as 1, and 10 briquettes 10 times as much. So if you know that there's 64 briquettes in a Weber chimney, then you can cut the energy in half by cutting down to half a chimney, and now you've got 32. And so because your charcoal grill doesn't have a dial on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't dial it up or dial it down. So it's the number of briquettes that control temperature. So yeah, it's useful to know that.
It's science.
Yeah, we're familiar with sous vide with steaks. Are there any other applications, or maybe possibly any other meats or something that people are sleeping on and not using that application?
Yeah. Eating undercooked or raw eggs, and things like eggnog, béarnaise or hollandaise sauces, which use raw egg, homemade mayonnaise, which uses raw egg. There's an element of risk. There's been a lot of listeria and campylobacter and other bad bugs found in chicken coops and around, and now we've got bird flu, which apparently is not yet a threat to humans. But the eggs you buy in the store are not pasteurized. Now, you used to be able to buy pasteurized eggs if you were making hollandaise or something like that, but they're really hard to find now. you can sous vide eggs and pasteurize them and still have runny yolks.
Huh.
And so
Okay.
you can make hollandaise, béarnaise, eggnog, and other things, and they'll be safe. And I mean, maybe the three of us are willing to take a risk of getting a
Right.
really bad tummy ache. Although they can, some of these bugs will put you in the hospital, and rarely they can kill you. But they're very dangerous for kids and the elderly or the immune compromised, somebody with AIDS or something, or cancer. So you don't want to screw around with that. So you can sous vide an egg and pasteurize it. Very cool. I've got this in my new book also, sous videing eggs.
Okay.
I've mentioned it a couple of times. Can I do a quick plug here for it?
Yes,
Do it.
please. That's why we're here, brother. We want to hear all about it.
My last book, if people are watching, there's my last book over here, Meathead. It has sold. Oh, wow. You've got it. Oh, this is the new book. Okay.
This is the new
The other book, the old book, sold 250,000 copies, which is in the stratosphere for cookbooks.
Yeah.
Most cookbooks are lucky to do 10, 20,000 copies. I mean, big shots like Bobby Flay, and they'll do a couple 100,000, but mine did 250, and it's still going up. It's probably the second best-selling barbecue book, right behind Stephen Reichland's Barbecue Bible, which has been around for about 20 years now. My new book coming out May 13. You can pre-order it on Amazon and other online places, but it won't be delivered till May 13 or thereafter. But it's called the Meathead Method. And what I've tried to do is go outside the box a bit. The original book has got all your traditional barbecue canon, steaks and burgers and ribs and pulled pork, brisket, the classics. And they're good recipes. They really work. They're solid. You can take them to the bank. I couldn't duplicate that. I didn't want to do the same recipes. Plus, I've been noticing as I travel that barbecue joints are starting to go a little off center now. A lot of them are doing fun things with Asian flavors, Spanish flavors, Italian flavors. And some of it is due to the fact that partners are of Asian or Mexican descent. And so they're bringing Mexican flavors in there. You're getting unusual, fascinating, experimental barbecue sauces. And so, in fact, I was at the NBBQA at the National Barbecue Association. You mentioned Kel Phelps, by the way. I'm going to be at the Smoke Slam with Kel.
He mentioned that. He told me to tell you, hey, and he said, make sure you stay on your best behavior.
I will. I promise. But Kel owns the National Barbecue Association, and I did a panel down there where we talked about the future of barbecue. And I think the future of barbecue is a lot of what I got into this book. It's new. I'm using gochujang, Asian flavors, sesame oil and other things. And I've tried to get creative. But since I know people want ribs and brisket and stuff, instead of the backyard recipes, which are in the first book, I've gotten a lot of the top competition cooks to share with me their methods and techniques. So the rib recipe in here is competition ribs. The brisket recipe in here is competition briskets. So if you're thinking about competing, you can start here.
Can you drop any names as to who you collaborated with on that?
No, I can't.
Come on.
Well, I'll put it this way. Collaboration is one thing. Spying is another. What are they? The shigging? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. How many championships have they won?
I've done my share. And they're not all, the secrets aren't all that secret anymore. I mean,
right.
Yeah. And there's classes. You can take some classes. I mean, you can, I took a class from Todd Johns a few years ago. I don't know if he's still teaching them, but it was a great insight into the techniques. So in any case, I've shared a lot of that in this book. Stuff that didn't fit into the last book. There is a whole chapter on sous vide Q. There's a chapter on using koji There's a section on deep fat frying on a gas grill. You heard me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody, you like fried chicken? Huh? Raise
Who
your hand.
doesn't like fried chicken?
Who doesn't like fried chicken? But you don't do it at home very often, do you?
No.
No, because it makes a mess of the kitchen. It spatters all over the stove, all over the countertops. It sets off the smoke alarm. Well, take it outside. If you got a gas grill, you can do it on a charcoal grill, but it's easier on a gas grill. You get a Dutch oven with high sides, which capture the spatters, a couple of inches of oil, bring it up to 375. That's your magic number. Dredge your chicken in whatever you want to dredge it in and pop it in the oil. Close the lid, walk away for a few minutes. When you come back, it's golden. Temp it. Should be right up to where you want it, but if it's a few degrees under, you don't want undercooked chicken. You can take it out of the oil and set it on the grill next to the Dutch oven. There's no heat underneath that. It's a 2-zone setup.
Yeah.
You got heat under the Dutch oven, no heat on the other side. So you just take it out, and it's going to warm with convection air. 3 types of energy on the grill. Conduction, we talked about that. That's hot metal. Infrared, that's glowing coals and flame. And convection, that's warm air flowing. You set it alongside the Dutch oven, and it just continues to roast gently with convection airflow, and it comes right up to safe temperature, and it doesn't darken the crust.
Dude, we're just continually learning from the master here. Let me ask you a question. This is a trend that I saw, and I still see it every once in a while, and this is about deep frying outdoors, whether you're cooking on a griddle or you're using a grill or a gas grill, charcoal. But I've been seeing people use aluminum foil pans as their method to hold the grease and fry their stuff up. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work. You're trying to get the oil up to 375, and aluminum foil pans are not very good insulators. So you'll lose a lot of energy into the air. A Dutch oven, if you've got a Dutch oven, it's cast iron and it's thick. So it gets hot and it holds the heat. And that actually is an important factor. You take, say, a 10-inch Dutch oven and you put 4 chicken thighs in there. And you don't want to crowd the oil.
Yeah.
They come out of the fridge. You run them through some flour and then egg and back into the flour or breadcrumbs, whatever. You throw it in there. It's coming out of the fridge at 38 degrees or so. It's going to knock the oil temperature way down in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Now it'll come back up, but when you take those guys out, you take the temp and it's way below 375. It's down around 3.25 or so. So you need to let it come back up to temp, and it'll come back up to temp faster in a Dutch oven than it would in a foil pan.
I don't know what the melting temperature of a foil pan, but I've seen some where it's probably going along with what you just said as far as the conductivity, as far as like heating that oil up. That you're such a thin metal, and you're trying to conduct heat to be able to have that oil to get hot to temperatures that you're trying to fry with, and they're not getting there, and then they crank up their griddles or they crank up their heat to whatever, and then the foil starts to melt. I mean, you get some really cheap, really thin oil, and all of a sudden your grease is going everywhere.
I don't know. I've never seen it. It would probably be hard to melt it. First of all, it won't go above 375. I mean, if that's your oil temp, the oil is going to keep it. I mean, I've seen pictures. I've never tried it. I've seen pictures of people take a plastic bag, fill it with water, and hold it over a campfire, and the water boils, because water boils at 212. So that plastic bag doesn't go above 212. Now, I don't know why it doesn't combust on the underside or melt, but in the physics are. The water is going to keep it cool, and I would think the oil would keep the aluminum pan cool. And I'm pretty sure I'm not, nothing's new under the sun. I didn't invent deep frying on a gas grill, but I don't think anybody really talked about it until I started preaching it. And man, if you love fried chicken, that's the way to go.
I love fried chicken. Fried chicken doesn't.
Who doesn't?
It doesn't love me.
I love it.
Yeah, it makes the section around like the middle section just get like larger.
That's fine. That's fine. Everybody
Well,
loves it.
all right. Here's a trick. Now I don't know if you're referring to stall restaurant fried chicken or homemade, but fried chicken doesn't absorb a lot of oil if you do it right and if you keep it at 375. When you put that chicken in the oil, what happens? It bubbles like crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is in that bubble? That is steam. The chicken is 75% water. It's coming out of the fridge. It's your fridge should be between 32 and 38. It shouldn't be over 40. That's a safety issue. So let's say you take it out of the fridge, you put it through the dredge, maybe, a few minutes in room temp, it gets up to 40, 42. 42 degrees going into that oil. That water that's in the chicken, 75% water, starts to boil and steam real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's in those bubbles is steam. And so you see a lot of steam coming out. It's doing a pretty good job of keeping oil from getting in. First of all, oil can't get into the chicken anyhow. Chicken is fully saturated with water. There's no room for oil, and oil and water don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a raw piece of chicken and put it in a vat of oil at room temp, and it's not going to soak up much oil at all. Maybe we have to remember the surface of meat has a lot of little pores and cracks and crevices. So when you marinate, the marinade will get into that, but it rarely goes more than 1/16 of an inch deep, especially if there's oil in your marinade. It's not going anywhere.
Is that like the brisket guys that cook fat side up so that the fat will render down into the meat?
They wish. Yeah, the fat will drizzle off, but it's not getting into the meat.
Right, right.
Cap on no way, not on this earth. Is it getting in there because your meat is 75% water and oil and water don't mix. But and I'm an advocate of getting that fat off. I mean, all of it except maybe at the most 1/4 of an inch. I mean, that fat does taste good, but I have a nice rub and I put the rub on there. If you leave a 1/2 inch of fat cap on there, your rub's all on top of the fat. It's not on top of the meat. And then when you slice that brisket and you put it down in front of your friends or your spouse, she's going to cut off all that fat, and there goes your rub.
Right.
So I like to, if you leave about 1/4 inch, it'll melt down to about 1/8 of an inch, and people will eat a thin layer of fat.
Mm-hmm.
But I want my rub on the meat.
I agree with you. So you've busted a lot of myths and a lot of I guess trendy type stuff going on throughout the years. Is there anything that possibly maybe you circled back around and go, I wouldn't really right on that?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any of those myths that like to this day still drive you crazy that people still talk about?
Oh yeah. Searing seals in the juices. It doesn't. The meat fibers are not like balloons, and when you sear them, you're not tying off the ends of the balloon. Mm-hmm. In fact, high temperatures extract juices. So when you sear, you're actually pulling juice out. But it's okay because you want to sear, you want the Maillard reaction. That's a classic. Another classic is soak your wood chips. And these are all myths that I think much of the barbecue world is adopted. But when I first started saying this, I went on a couple of the barbecue forums and they just chewed me a new one. But do this experiment at home. Take a chunk of wood, take some wood chips, and they tell you that all the barbecue books say soak it for an hour. Mm-hmm. Soak it overnight. Soak it overnight. And then get out your saw and cut it in half. There's no water inside that wood. Mm-mm. There's a fraction of an inch on the surface. It'll soak in because the surface is a little fuzzy and it's got some pores and cracks and crevices, but it can't penetrate. That's why they build boats out of wood.
Right.
Wood doesn't absorb water.
Yeah. I had a coworker.
You throw that wood on your charcoal and you go, wow, look at all that smoke. Hold a mirror in it. It's not smoke, it's steam. Water boils at 212. Smoke happens at around 500. So you can't get smoke to come from that wood until the water is boiled off. So you take wet wood, throw it on the charcoal, and what happens? Knocks down the temperature of the charcoal. Off comes the steam. You're still not going to get any smoke until all the water is evaporated. Once the water is evaporated, then the wood can go beyond 212 up to 500, and it can start to smoke. Here's a new one that's in this book, the new book. They all tell you don't smash your hamburger with your spatula. But it was driving me nuts. There's a few burger joints near me, and I drive by them, and they just smell fantastic, and they smell better than your average burger. And I started going in there and trying to figure out what they're doing. And it finally dawned on me. Most of us buy 80-20. That is 80% lean, 20% fat. That's our standard burger blend. Well, if you take an 80-20 burger and put it on the grill and smash it with the spatula, the juices come out, and some of the fat depends on what point during the cook it is. But if it's been on there for a little bit and the fat's starting to render, you smash it, that fat drops down onto the fire, whether it's charcoal or gas, and it incinerates and comes back up and creates beautiful smells and flavors the meat. But if you're doing with 80-20, that hockey puck is going to be kind of dry. So what's the solution? 70-30. Buy your burger meat at 70-30, grill it, and when the surface is starting to brown and the fat's starting to soften, you can smash it with your spatula, get that fat to drip down on the fire and come back up as fumes, flavor the meat, and it won't be overly dry. You'll be knocking it down from 70-30 to 80-20. And you'll have a significantly better burger. I want you guys to try it and report.
I'm going to try that. Yeah,
every one of you guys try it and report.
I'm going to try it. Yeah,
it works.
We've seen a lot of this. Well, I guess similar to what you're talking about. Whether you're doing a drum, like drum smoking is really popular nowadays. In competition, because if you have that diffuser plate either removed, or you have holes to where the drippings of that meat are able to drip down into the fire, and as it smokes back up and it comes back, you get that flavor that kind of like imparts itself onto the meat.
Feels good for sure.
You see a lot of guys that they'll do onions. They'll put onions below their meat, so as the onions caramelize and cook, that flavor just starts, that aroma just surrounds the meat. So this right here is no different. You see some of the, like what you're going to do the demo on a live fire of these meats cooking over live fires, and the drippings dripping into the fat, and the smells and aromas. When we did the open fire meetup there in Hondo, Texas. Man, you talk about like everything, like my clothes just smelled like I could just eat them, because all those flavors just permeated everything. You're like, my whole truck smelled like just like a nice, good seared piece of meat.
Here's a trick. Next time you do a brisket, trim off all that damn fat, throw it in the freezer. Next time you do a steak, take some of that fat and throw it right on the fire, right below the steak. Let that fat burn.
All right.
I'm going to do that.
Give it some flavor.
Yeah.
Here's another trick in the book that's fun. We already voted on who likes fried chicken, right?
We did.
And by the way, you can do other, you can do onion rings. You can do calamari. The whole point is you can deep fat fry on a grill better than you can in the house. And you're not going to set anything on fire. You're not going to knock over a big old Dutch oven. And even if you did, you'd burn up a $500 grill. If you knocked over a Dutch oven indoors, you burn up a $500,000 house. So it's fine. It's safe. It's easy to do. Now, here's something else. Who likes Chinese food? Raise your hands. Yeah. But we don't cook it very often, do we? Because our oven indoors doesn't get hot enough. I mean, if you've ever been in the kitchen of a Chinese restaurant, they have these massive burners. And that wok that they cook on gets really hot. When you try doing stir fry at home, what often happens is, especially if you've marinated the meat, is the juices all come out. And so instead of stir frying, you're now braising. You're simmering it in liquid. And even if you haven't marinated, just the juices from the meat come out. And the secret to good stir fry is getting that wok really hot. Well, you got a charcoal chimney at home? Get that charcoal chimney 1/2 to 3/4 full with charcoal, bring it up to full temp, set your wok on top. Now you've got a wok burner equivalent to what they have in your neighborhood Chinese restaurant. And from there on, it's all Chinese restaurant technique. You got to do all your mise en place. You got to have everything chopped up and on a platter and lined up in order and ready, because it moves fast. You know? But you can do really great Chinese food on top of a charcoal chimney with a good wok. You want a carbon steel wok, and they're inexpensive. There's one little trick, especially if you're doing a lot of stir frying, several dishes or something. The wok sitting on top of the chimney, the air intake holes for the chimney are down low. And so the combustion gases from the charcoal can extinguish the charcoal. It can smother it because you've got a wok sitting on top. That's a lid. So what you need to do is drill a few holes in the top of your charcoal chimney. It won't affect its value for other things.
Okay.
But now you can get airflow into the charcoal chimney from above, giving air to the charcoal. Or what I did is I just got a pair of tin snips and cut a V shape in the lip of the charcoal chimney. But you want to aerate the charcoal. You don't want to allow the wok to smother the charcoal.
I feel like you've thought about some of this stuff before.
Well, it's my job. And it's great fun. I love to cook. I love to eat, and I love to teach.
Oh, it sounds like you're freaking awesome at all of those things. So
our next state competition, we're just bringing nothing but charcoal chimney starters and grill grates
and brisket trimmings.
Yes.
There you go. I would try. I'm surprised. I've never seen anybody do that.
We're gonna try that.
Yeah, I saw. I've been seeing really quick. I've been seeing a trend. So beef tallow has always been kind of popular over the last couple of years.
I was going to say not always, just recently.
For me, people are using beef tallow for all the wrong reasons. But I don't want to get into that because I think just smearing oil all over your brisket. I don't think that really is just flavoring and keeping your brisket moist, but I love beef tallow, and I love the idea that now they're coming back. I guess with the understanding, and you have certain people bringing the science and saying beef tallow is actually better for you frying stuff in than per se some of the seed oils that they're producing nowadays. And you're seeing a lot of like restaurants maybe possibly going back and reverting back to what they used to do. Like I'm seeing like Steak Shack, I'm seeing like Popeyes, I'm seeing several other places that now they're only just frying in just 100% beef tallow.
Yeah, it's a new trend. Now you all know, and if people don't know me out there, perhaps if they've listened here, they know that I'm interested in the science, and that I have some interest and some knowledge of science and physics and chemistry. You will not find anything in any of my books or anywhere on my website, which I haven't mentioned by name yet, AmazingRibs.com.
There it is.
Great website. You'll find nothing about health there. I never say this is healthy or this is not, because I don't know.
Right.
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think the dietitians know. I don't think the doctors know. I think there's a lot of speculation. But it comes down to the way they do the research. Now, I can do research on physics and chemistry, and it's pretty easy to set up controls and come away with a conclusion. But there's no way for me to tell if people who eat who do all their frying in beef tallow versus people who do it in olive oil or do it in seed oils. There's this huge, I mean, I hang out on social media trying to promote myself and my businesses. And that's, seed oil has all of a sudden become poisonous.
Oh, yeah.
And beef tallow has all of a sudden become the magic elixir. And you're right. Some restaurants now are switching back to beef tallow because it's trendy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe anyone has proven, and I'm sure I'm looking at your screen here, and there's people, but I can't see their comments. I wouldn't be surprised if 4 or 5 of them are commenting, "You're fucking nuts, Meathead. Everybody knows beef tallow is better." No, they don't. One of the reasons we don't know, and I can't get into great depth on this, but the way they do research on diet primarily is they take a group of people and they split them in half and they ask them to keep a diary of everything they eat. And then they look at the diary and then they count the dead bodies or the people who've had heart attacks or the people who've gotten diabetes. And it's useful information, but it's one of these classic cases of correlation is not causation. We don't know that if those who ate beef tallow more than those who didn't, the reason they had maybe the problem is they exercised more or they ate more chocolate or, it's just way too complicated to form definitive conclusions about diet. Now, there is some physiology and other things and epidemiology that scientists can look at your veins and stuff, but it's really iffy stuff. It's really iffy. And just about any research project I've seen about what's healthy and what's not, pretty easy to shoot holes in the methodology or the data sets. And I just heard today someone saying that the all meat diet that's so popular, the carnivore diets, people are living longer, and yet I know I've seen research that says they're not. They're living shorter, and it just really, I'm old enough, and you guys may be too, to remember when butter was bad and margarine was good. And now it's flipped. Now margarine's bad and butter is good.
Mm-hmm.
When eggs were bad and now they're good. So it's a moving target, and without all the science, my mom knew all about it. Eat a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can have pepperoni on your pizza, and it's not going to take 1 minute off your lifespan.
Right.
You can eat a bag of Cheetos. It's not going to take 1 minute off your lifespan.
Yeah. You just can't eat like a bag of 2 bags of Cheetos or a bag of Cheeto for every meal for every day.
Right. Yeah. And you don't want to eat a hot dog every day.
Correct.
And maybe you don't want to eat them 3 times a week. But by God, I love hot dogs, and I'm going to eat one as often as I can. Usually when I go into the airport, that's where I get a hot dog. It's just sort of my airport food.
Really? Airport hot dogs? How is that billing up?
Is that Nathan's?
Well, I'm weird. I eat my hot dogs naked. I mean, the hot dogs are naked, not me.
Okay. Alrighty then. You know what? That's our time for tonight, folks.
I don't need ketchup or mustard or onions. I like onions and mustard, but I just love a hot dog on a bun.
Y'all gonna see me.
I just noticed that there's comments underneath you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I deliberately am ignoring the comments on the right because I've got it moved over from my camera.
You may want to. I think Jan's in there. Jan's asking Pluto.
Somebody was asking about what wine I'm drinking.
Yeah, somebody asked what you were drinking.
Yeah, it's an Argentinian Merlot. There's some of the best value. A lot of people don't know this, but I was the wine critic for the Washington Post and the Chicago Tribune, and I was syndicated in a bunch of newspapers, including El Nuevo Dia in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Wow! So I'm a wino, and I was before I became a barbecue guy. Let's see. Have you seen some questions for me? I see somebody saying Pluto was a planet. Is that related to something I said?
Yeah, that's
he
Jan.
was talking about how things are changing. Butter used to be this, and
Right.
Yeah.
Pluto's a planet, then
He's
it's
just
not a
showing his
planet, and
age.
then they're saying it is a planet.
Yeah,
It's gone back and forth. Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But that is easier to prove. I mean, I think they can actually come to a final conclusion on this by gathering the data. But dietary data is much less definitive and much harder to prove. So I bring that up, which was an oblique critique of your comment about the healthiness of tallow.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
We don't.
And you should stop saying it.
Nobody knows. James.
I will stop, but I will not stop saying stop pouring beef tallow all over your brisket.
Yes.
I'm with you on that.
We don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said, meat 75% water, beef tallow is 100% fat. It can't penetrate.
Right.
Now, but there is that little fraction of a surface, 1/16 of an inch or so, with tiny pores and cracks and crevices. And even though the meat may look smooth, you look at it under a magnifying glass and it looks like the Rocky Mountains. But beyond the surface, it can't get in. The only thing that gets in is salt.
I was going to
Salt
ask
is
you
the
that.
magic rock.
What is the one mineral or what seasoning or mineral will penetrate the meat?
Salt. It's the only one. No garlic, no sugar, no black pepper. You take your turkey and you put it in a big tub with apple juice and garlic powder and black pepper and all that stuff. None of it gets beyond that little thin layer on the surface.
Everything else is essential, just like window dressing.
Part of it is that people really don't understand the physics and chemistry here, and it's my job to teach it. But once they understand, if you're listening, if you are out there now and you take your turkey every Thanksgiving and take it for a swim in a gallon of apple juice with a bottle of black pepper and garlic, you're wasting your money. And the proof is when you're done cooking the turkey, take that turkey breast and slice it and taste a core sample. Now, be careful that the knife is not carrying flavor from the surface down to the core. But if you cut it and take a sample out of the center of that turkey breast, you're just going to taste turkey. Now, salt will get in, and that's why we brine. Salt will get in. Salt is two little atoms, sodium and chloride. And when they get wet, and meat is wet, you sprinkle it on the surface of the meat, they get wet, they get an electrical charge. It's called ionization. And they can move deep. It takes time. Turkey breast maybe overnight. A 1-inch thick steak, a couple hours. But it can move. And what's cool is when the salt gets down into the center, it does something called denaturing the proteins, which basically means it changes the shape of the protein. Protein molecules are really complicated, wiggly, squiggly things. But it changes their shape slightly so that they can hold water better. So salting meat makes an awful lot of sense. Brining meat makes an awful lot of sense. It gets down. And the other thing is salt amplifies flavor. Your taste buds are really sensitive to salt, and they amplifies flavor, but it doesn't alter it. Garlic alters the flavor. Pepper alters the flavor. Salt doesn't. So salting the meat makes an awful lot of sense. And so I didn't invent the term. I invented the term dry brining. I didn't invent the concept. But brining has been around for a long time. And a chef named Judy Rogers, who's now no longer with us, from a restaurant in Berkeley, was famous for her chicken, which she made by dry brining. She didn't call it dry brining. I coined the term, but she invented the concept, or I probably didn't invent it, but popularized it. And then I took it even further. But it's just a matter of sprinkling salt on your turkey or on your chicken or on your steak. Just sprinkle it on a few hours in advance, and it'll do its magic. It will penetrate and denature and hold on to moisture and amplify flavor. And if you do that, you're not likely to over salt. You're not if your diet recommends that you don't use too much salt, then you don't have to worry, because it's not a lot of salt that you need to do. I use Morton coarse kosher salt on everything. I just felt it made sense as a teacher to standardize on one kind of salt
Mhm.
Occasionally, I use some Malden salt, which is a big flaky salt
Mhm.
on table side.
Right.
But in
Right.
cooking, it's just pure Morton coarse kosher salt. And so all my recipes have the same basic salt. And one of the reasons is pretty easy to sprinkle with your fingers, and there are minimal additives. Just settle on one salt for all your cooking needs.
That's like Salt Bay. Yeah, have you seen the guy, the social media?
Yeah, the Salt Bay. He kind of
We're
he's
gonna
made,
say
he's made a show of throwing the salt down.
Meat Bay, where it's Meat Bay just sprinkling the salt all over it. I love it. That's beautiful. We did get a comment. Somebody's like, I can listen to Meathead like all day long.
Oh God!
And honestly,
Wait a minute, my wife's in the next room. Let me get her in here.
Right, yeah, I think that was Johnny Maggs over there at Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. He's a big fan. Well, boss, we appreciate you. I know we've kept you on here longer than I said we were going to, but I'm going to get my pre-order in. I know all of our listeners
Thank you.
want them to do the same.
Mhm.
Best way to do it is through Amazon.
I think Barnes and Noble, Amazon, all have it. If you do it digital, I don't like reading cookbooks on my iPad. I read novels on my iPad. I read a lot of novels, but
Spicy novels.
you can get it, I think, most places online. It'll be out May 13 in your bookstores if you want to patronize and help keep your bookstores alive. And I like that idea. Hopefully some of the libraries will be buying it. I should also mention, we've been focused on the book and technique and stuff, and I'm not a good businessman. I want to just encourage people to come visit AmazingRibs.com if they haven't been there yet. A lot of this information is on that website. Websites are really useful. They're not as good as a book, because when I work on a book, I really work hard to organize it. So there's a beginning and a middle and an end, and then the recipes build upon what you learned in the beginning. And so there's a flow. And of course, you don't have that on a website. You're jumping all around with hyperlinks. But AmazingRibs.com is a great website with over 2,000 pages of free recipes and science and myth busting. But the coolest thing is we have a Pitmaster Club, which is a membership, $35 a year. And there's 120 broadcast quality videos in there from people like Tuffy Stone and Harry Sue and Matt. Oh God, why am I drawing a blank? What's Matt's last name?
Matt Pittman.
Matt Pittman. Thank you. I'm getting old. I'm having trouble with names. Matt Pittman. I mean, we've got 120 instructional videos, 6 free ebooks by me, and it's a great community. People are always sharing recipes, tips, techniques, recommendations on grills. A lot of cool stuff. So there's a 30-day free trial. Take the 30-day free trial.
That's freaking amazing. That's a killer deal. $35. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that link from you, and I'll post that down below for the folks that are listening.
AmazingRibs.com/pitmaster.
There it is. Yeah, we'll have that link down below, as well as the link to you can pre-order your book, or like you said, go find it at your bookstore. AmazingRibs.com. Huge fan of the website. We appreciate you, Meathead.
Thank you. It's always fun talking to you guys. It's nice to talk to people who know barbecue.
Thank you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate
I appreciate you putting up with this knucklehead. Sometimes we get a little sideways, and it's nice to have Meathead reel us back in a little bit.
Can I answer a question that just popped on my screen?
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Somebody's asking about garlic salt. As you may have gathered, I really respect salt, and I think it's really important. And in fact, I make a whole big deal. You can find this on the website about rubs should not contain salt, because salt penetrates and all the other stuff sits on the surface. So you want more salt in a pork butt than you do in a slab of ribs. Slab of ribs is skinny, doesn't take long, and doesn't need much to penetrate. So I've got recipe, concept of how much per pound. So salt goes on per pound, rub goes on but per square inch, how much surface area. Now, when it comes to garlic salt, I want to control the amount of salt, and I want to control the amount of garlic. They're kind of like the gas and the brake. They both control the speed of the car, but they're different. So garlic will sit on the surface, salt will penetrate. So I never touch garlic salt. Don't even have it in the house. I'll have garlic powder, and fresh garlic, and I have salt, but they go on separately.
I feel like we just barely scratched the surface because I have so many more
Dude,
questions, but
all I'm saying
we'll
is
just have to book him again because
beat it, garlic salt.
Yeah, I'll come back.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
We've been doing
Meathead,
like once a
it's
year. We'll
been
probably do it
amazing.
more. Yeah,
I'll
We
come back.
appreciate
And now that I know, I'm getting used to your interface. I'm seeing where to watch the questions and stuff. So I wanted to comment while you guys were talking, or I couldn't figure out how to leave a comment. I don't think it's available to guests.
it may not be. Yeah, it's
Well, that's
probably just
bullshit.
watching. Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna talk
I
to my
love it.
producer about that because he needs to get that shit figured out. Raul, get your shit together. All right.
Y'all do know that
Raul,
I
it's all your fault.
restream.
We need you to redesign it.
All right. Hey, thanks, Meathead. We
Thank you, bud.
appreciate you, brother.
Good to see you guys. Good luck. Are you competing anywhere soon?
Yeah, we got a wing and burger competition coming up here the next weekend.
We're gonna use that 70-30.
Ooh, wings. You fry them?
No, so we're it's a company called RotoQ 360. I don't know if you've seen this. It's an all stainless steel rotisserie style basket that you wind up and you can,
Yeah, I have seen that.
and you can put it on a grill, smoker, oven, whatever you want. So the wings have to be cooked in that. The burgers up to you as far as whatever you want to cook in. But yeah, that's kind of the instruction. So we have a wing and burger competition coming up.
You can't take the wing out of there after you're done and give them a 30 seconds in hot oil or anything?
We should.
I'm pretty sure you probably could do it. If not, then we're gonna have to submerge this thing into a Dutch oven that just rotating in oil. I don't know.
Just say you needed to oil it.
Let's go.
Well, good luck, and it's good
Appreciate
to
it.
get talking to you. And
Thanks, brother.
we'll
All right,
see you around.
Have
We'll
a
see
good
you next
night.
time.
That's awesome.
So we may have we may have to test the limits of this RotoQ.
We cannot submerge it in hot oil.
I don't know. I'm gonna get the instructional
Okay.
instructions on it to see if it says you can't do it.
Well, okay. I guess we could try it.
Right. It's just like a small little bed of oil that as it turns, it just like
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
it dips right into
Just
the
barely
frying
dips in it?
oil and just I don't know.
That's kind of genius.
I don't know.
that
I'd
might
probably
make a
just
good video.
I'd probably just like let the cat out of the bag and
Yeah.
everybody's gonna like
All right.
they're probably gonna do this and probably like burn down every grill
Right.
or something that they're using. Or that they
Listeners,
have.
don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
Dude, grabbing the brisket podcast. Hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this episode with Meathead Goldwyn. He's got the new book coming out. We're gonna have all the links, places that you can go to check it out. Very cool dude. Like it's
So much knowledge, man. I feel like I
He
had so
does.
many more questions I wanted to ask him. Every time he'd say something, I just try to hold on to it because
yeah, you kind of hold
Mm.
back a little bit because you don't like I don't want to sound like a moron.
right, because he
Uh,
knows when you're
I'm
wrong.
like, yeah, you put the salt on. I'm like, please don't judge me, Meathead. But I'll tell everybody out there that's listening right now, and I'm not trying to yell or anything. I'll tell everybody out there right now that when I first started getting into barbecue, AmazingRibs.com was the first website that I found that actually gave you kind of like the science breakdown on why you do what
Mhm.
and the pictures and the videos and stuff that you can just visually see it and you go, okay, I understand this, I comprehend this. That's how I learned how to do the 3-2-1 method on doing ribs. That's how I learned how to do cooking like brisket, cooking pretty much anything and everything in the barbecue realm. That's where I was like, okay, I heard this guy talking about this right here. Let me search it up on AmazingRibs.com. Lo and behold, Meathead has a article about it, and so I go through it all. There's an article about dry brining your steak versus actually it's like salting your steak. How long do you let the salt stay on your steak? Because there is a scientific method, like he was talking about, like the denaturization of the meat. So you can salt your meat and let it sit for a couple of minutes and then cook now, but you run into a window that you have to let that steak sit and let it go to work as it pulls the moisture out of the meat, so to speak, as the salt dissolves. and then all of a sudden it gets pulled back into the meat, and you start getting that flavorful type stuff. I wouldn't have known any of this stuff if it wasn't for AmazingRibs.com. So if you're out there, go check out the website, hit all the links, check out his new cookbook, check out the old one. Man, super awesome.
Yeah, the old book is amazing too. It's a lot of that stuff you're talking about, all the sciences about why meat acts the way it does next to fire. Anyway, hey, you want to talk about this beer a little bit?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I really freaking enjoyed this beer more than I thought I was going to.
Pilsner Urquell. So yeah, it's been a great beer. I wish it was a little bit higher in the alcohol content, but we're coming in with the faux foes.
Faux, I'm tipping.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Hey,
Good. Yeah.
Ounce wise, they're coming in with the 16.9 ounces. I don't know if this is some type of metric conversion from European. What is that?
I think it's like it's a pint, right?
It's like imperial measurement.
It's 500 milliliters, so it's a half a liter.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's really good. It kind of reminds me of like an Oktoberfest beer or something.
A little bit. I was not mad about this. This is exciting. I finished it.
Let's finish mine too. I want to let you do your score first. I have mine in my head, but I want to see where you go with this thing.
Okay. I'm going to go a solid, probably just a 8.3.
Okay.
Very solid beer.
I'm above you. I'm going to say a 9.4. I really enjoyed this beer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll definitely drink it again. It's very good. That's a grab and a brisket. Beer review.
I love how we just didn't beat around the bush. You know, Jan would be here. He'd be like, "Oh, let me just look at the can again."
Goddamn bush beater. Hold on, one more sip.
Let me just like describe. Like he probably couldn't even see the can because he does have a little like red, blue color blindness going.
Yeah, there's definitely different colors on it.
Well, that's gone, and then we're just bringing it back with the old big shiner.
Shiner. That's a normal size shiner. We do have a barbecue win / barbecue fail.
Let's get it.
And this is from our buddy Craig Carter.
Aces Wild.
Aces Wild. Yeah,
There
Craig Carter. He said he had 2 180s at the Jack this year in Cook's Choice.
That's
even
amazing.
on 180s. That's a perfect score.
Yeah.
The computer generated coin flip happened because there was two 180s. I'm sorry, him and another team. There's a computer generated coin flip, and he lost to a chili dog. So I don't even know what he cooked. He didn't even tell me. He just said he lost to a chili dog in a coin flip, and now Brad Orison reminds him about once a month with some sort of chili dog shit.
Yeah.
As he's
Nah, we're not. Yeah, no, we're not doing this. Can we just take a moment here just to talk about this just really quick? We're not doing this. We're not doing chili dog. And I know Craig. I know he probably put out some really badass shit. He didn't say what he cooked, did he?
He didn't say it on here. No,
Craig.
Yeah,
we need to know what you cooked, but I know a chili dog didn't beat out anything that you put down. So
I do like a chili dog.
This is some horse shit, Jack. I don't know who's doing the judging, but you're just opening up all type of like windows of okay, now I'm throwing down Pop-Tarts, now I'm throwing down just weird Tostino pizza rolls against chef made badass chef kiss type stuff. So
you think the chili dog had beans in it?
Of course it had beans in it. They're probably like tried to marry some Chicago style dog with a
oh man,
they probably had like a what is it, like the tomatoes and like the
pickle
pickles
and shit.
It's terrible. Like, I'm sorry, Craig, they did you that way.
Right.
We're gonna need some clarification. We're probably gonna need somebody from the Jack to respond immediately on this travesty because I think he was robbed.
Yeah, congrats on the 180. You were a winner there. You're a loser for losing to a chili dog, but you are also a winner because you win some
Suckle busters. Everybody wants some suckle busters.
All right. Hey, great job. That was really good.
Yeah. So send us whatever rub you want, Suckle Busters. Let us know, Craig, and we will send it to you.
And anybody else that wants to send in their barbecue fail, their barbecue stories, any of those sort of things, you can do that. Our email is info@grabeminthebrisket.com. Just let us know whatever it is. We'll share it. Or you can call into our hotline, and those kind of go to the top of our list. Just leave a little message for us.
Yeah, I'm so bummed that we aren't getting anybody to call in. Do you know? Do you know if that phone's still active?
Maybe I need to go check.
Are they calling it, getting like a fucking like dial tone?
Do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know that's happening because
Yeah.
we haven't got a voicemail in like freaking like 2 years.
No, well, maybe. I'll check. 434-829-2299. Let us know if it's working. That would be helpful, actually. Leave us a message and just say, hey, yes, it's working. If I get that message, I will share it, and you'll be a winner.
Dude, as always, before I get to it, man, it's been a really great show. I've really enjoyed having Meathead on. Sucks that the guys weren't here to be a part of it. Enjoyed being a part of it with you guys here, Raul. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah. Hey, Jan, don't do anything stupid over there.
Jan just going in at their weird comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But hey, we appreciate your input and being a part of the show.
Do you see that message?
What do you say?
Is Mikey? He says, going to be out there in April. Can't wait to see you guys and turn off the lights again.
Yeah, there it is.
All
Hey,
right.
Look, the lights are already on.
Hey, we're
Mikey.
one step ahead of them. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man, dude. Hey, do you let's yeah. Hey, everybody that's tuning along. Yeah, John already gave all the socials. Please reach out to us. We'd love to see what you're cooking. Tag us in your videos, tag us in your photos. We want to see what you're throwing down. We're gonna be throwing it down this weekend ourselves. So I really haven't gotten into it, but man, I feel like brisket again. I feel like we need to run that gamut again. So let's go, dude. Hey, as always, guys, it's been great talking barbecue.